Oh, it's live. Hello. Give it a few moments. I just kicked on. All right. One more minute. All right. Well, thank you for joining me tonight on Tuesday, May 18th. Tonight, we are going to be playing with the Plentiful plant set. My name is Megan Cooper with Lazy Day Stampin' here in Fallbrook, California, and I will be demonstrating a handmade card tonight. I would like to talk really quickly about a promotion that's going on for joining Stampin' Up. If you join Stampin' Up right now until the 31st, I want to say, you're going to get an extra $56 in product when you join. Normally, you only get an extra $25. So it's a great time to join, especially if you like this set. It's one that you can add to your join promotion, and it's really a lot of fun. I've been playing with it all day today. So let's go ahead and switch over and get started. Hello, Marissa. All right, so tonight we're going to be using this set. If you follow any of my social media, Instagram or Facebook, I've posted this set yesterday because I was trying to get to it to get to using it, and I did not, but I did get to it today. I really like some of the sentiments on here. You were there, and I am very grateful. That says a lot for me in my life with the people in my life. So I appreciate this stamp set a lot, and it comes with these coordinating dies. I'll show you the basket die in just a moment after I cut the other things. The basket die is really cute. Jacob loved it, my son. He came home from school and he saw it today and he thought it was really cool. It's a hanging basket, like a macrame basket. So the card that we're going to be making tonight is going to be a mystery because I said it somewhere. There it is. Okay, no mystery. Here we go. All right, so this is the card we're going to be making tonight. It's simple, but it's really fun, and I like the colors in it. It's got the cinnamon cider and the garden green, and then we're going to heat emboss our sentiment onto the vellum, and we're going to do a little bit of dry embossing on some Very Vanilla. Normally, I don't think I've done a card yet with Very Vanilla on it for the lives. I've just been using the basic white, but tonight we're going to use the Very Vanilla. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set that right there so I remember what it looks like. So we've got our Evening Evergreen card base, and the other night when I did my live, I couldn't find my bone folder. I still haven't found it, but my husband's letting me use his. He does a lot of paper crafting stuff too. I'm sure it'll turn up at some point. All right, and then we're going to take a piece of the brick paper that coordinates with this stamp set, and it's going to go here. But first, we're going to go ahead and dry emboss our two pieces. I'll emboss those at the same time that I cut out our stamped images. Now, let me go ahead and show you the photopolymer stamp we're going to be using today. It's going to look, we've got two of them. I'm going to cut out the 3-leaf, and I'm going to cut out the 6-leaf. So I'm going to stamp this one first, and we're going to do second generation stamping in garden green. So I'm going to ink it up, nice and inky, and then I'm going to stamp it off because I want my top layer to be a little lighter than my dark layer, and then I'm going to stamp it on my Very Vanilla cardstock. Nice impression. You want to use your Stampin' Pierce mat so it has a little bounce back on the stamp, and then we're going to stamp the 6-layer stamp, not using that block because it's a little too small for it. Make sure it's nice and inked up. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp it. And this stamp set's pretty cool because it has a lot of coordinating dies. So we are actually going to use a die to cut out this one. And we're going to use a die to cut out this one. I'm actually going to stamp this one more time because I think it's a little darker than I want it. take that stamp off. I have a floating stamp. I'm gonna might one and maybe a quick one, and then let's see what it looks like. That might be a little light, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that one. It'll dry a little darker, so this one will be a little darker than that. All right, so I'm gonna cut these out on the Stampin' Cut machine, and here are some of the ones I cut earlier. This one's done in just jade, and this is one of the other dies. So let me cut this real quick, and I will be right back. And then I'm going to put that through, and then I'm going to show you how I do the dry embossing. Just a moment. All right. And then look, I found more goodies over here. All right, so we're going to use those two. And then I'm going to bring the machine over to show you the dry embossing. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And what you'll need is your Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. That looks like this bad boy here. And then the gray plate. And then your texture folder that you want to use. And we are going to use some Berry Vanilla. I'm just going to take this strip here. I'm going to put it right in my embossing folder. Camera's a little low, sorry about that. And then you're just going to run it through, and it's going to add a lot of texture to the paper. There we go. There we go. Take this big guy, move it out of the way. And then this is what we'll have. Something that has quite a bit of texture, and it just adds another layer to the card. And I'm actually going to cut this in half using my paper trimmer. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you just want a small piece showing through on the card that we're doing. It's a great way to use up scraps to add just a little bit of extra detail. All right, and let's see. So we don't want them that long. I'm just going to eyeball it here and use my paper snips. Tiny bit more. Just cut as straight as possible. There we go. And then we can just line up the other one and trim it down to the same size. You can also cut it on your paper trimmer if you want, but my paper snips are right here, so I'm just going to use those. All right, so we can work on building the base layers. So all I'm going to do is take multi-purpose adhesive, and I'm going to put it on this side where the texture's facing up because I want that detail to be showing more. When you have the embossing folders, you usually end up with like a in-print side and a outer side, a raised side. That's the word I'm trying to think of. So I'm going to have it so that the raised side is showing. So you put the glue on the raised side. And then check out the other side of this paper. I think this is a lot of fun. The card set, or I'm sorry, the Stampin' die set that I'm using in my class is going to be called, it's called Handsomely Suited, and you can make a shirt out of it, and I think that would be a great Hawaiian style shirt. And I saw that this was just a touch crooked, so I'm just going to trim it down one more time. There we go. Make sure you glue it on the right side. Whoopsie, almost didn't. All right, here we go. I'm just kind of eyeball it, give it like just a little bit there. So just a little bit showing through. Then I'm going to add multi-purpose adhesive on the back. Remember, watch your glue corners. You don't want to put too much, because if you put too much glue, it'll squeeze out the edges. Can you see that? All right. There we go. All right, that's nice. And then we'll do the vellum next. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp our sentiment, which is "You were there and I am very grateful." And we're going to do that on the vellum. And you got to be careful when you're heating it, because the vellum will give it a little bit of bend, a little bit more than cardstock. All right, so you're going to add your static powder. Then you're going to use your Versamark. And I'm going to take this off so when I line it up, I can see it. Alrighty. Make sure you have your stamp going in the proper direction. Otherwise, you're going to have an upside down sentiment, which would really be fine because you could just change how you're doing it or cut a strip off and put the strip on. Just want to get it as straight as you can. Then you're going to put the black heat emboss powder on. So what's going to happen is the Versamark is glue, and this powder is going to stick to it. And when I did this sentiment, the am kind of really filled in well. So I'm not sure I would heat emboss this one again, because the am gets a little, you can see that, a little bit mushed, but we still know what it is. Let's see. When I get a little picky, I like to make sure all the little granules are in their proper places, because once it melts, you can't do anything about it. Just gonna pat that back in, put my lid on. Then we'll take the heat gun. Plugged in. That's always a good thing. And you want to heat the back and the front to try and keep the paper from warping. And you just keep going until it gets shiny. That's when you know it's melted. There we go. So as you can see, it does get a little warpy in there with the style font, I would say, is the cause there. You can still see it and it makes it pretty, but I probably wouldn't use heat embossing with that particular sentiment again. And then I had a pot. There it is. I did my pot. I stamped it out and I did it in cinnamon cider ink on Berry Vanilla. So that's the pot we're going to use to assemble this card. Now, for this piece of vellum that I heat embossed, I did put it up on the edges of the dimensionals, but I'm going to put my pot together first so I can make sure I put the dimensionals in the right spot so that you don't see them, because as you can see through the vellum, so you want to make sure you put your adhesives that you use underneath the pot and the plant. So all you do for this is layer it any way you like it. So I did mine kind of like this, and then you put the pot right on top. So I'm going to add glue first and then I'm going to add dimensionals to it. So we'll do glue on here. Make sure it's lined up the way we want. And really, that's just a preference. Any way you like it is perfect. And then we'll do glue on the front so we can add the pot. There we go. Just a touch higher. There we go, I like that. All right, very good. Now, if you live in the area, I do have an in-person class that I'll be doing on the 29th. When I scheduled the class, I did not realize it was Memorial Day weekend. So if it's something you can come to, that would be great. The in-person class will be doing 3 cards and it's $20 for the class. And if you cannot, I'll be doing another one in June. The class information will be posted on my website at Lazy Day Stampin' by the end of the week. So just keep checking back for updates. Then I'm just going to take the dimensional off, the backing. Maybe get my pokey tool and try the other side. Oh, there's a piece that's lifted right there. There we go. And then that'll come right off. I had a little bit of glue on my fingers from all the gluing of the plants today, so my fingers are a little sticky. Then I'm just going to add it a little bit above in the center, and your glue's still going to be drying, so you might have to wiggle it around a little bit. My pot is crooked. There we go. All right. So then just stick it down where you like it. Now I'll go through the back and put my adhesive on there. So that way you don't see it and I can put it in the right place instead of trying to guess, be like, oh yeah, it'll be like right here. And then it's totally off and you see all the adhesive. I'm going to break this up a little bit, kind of give it. All right. We'll do that and see how we like it. All right. This card's pretty simple, but I think it's totally cute. So I put these a little lower and it looks a little weird on that, but on here, I had them aligned more with the side of the pot, which is good. And actually, it's not fully glued yet, so I could probably finagle it a little bit. That's good. All right. So then this will pop up a little bit. You can just take your heat gun and hit it a little bit and it'll flatten out. And then I added some of the Genial Gems, the Pale Papaya. We did a small one here, a small one here, and a larger one up here. You can see there's a little difference because this one sits a little higher than that one did. That's okay. That's the great thing about handmade cards, the differences in them. All right, let's go ahead and do the inside of the card and the envelope. Here's my inside. And I think I will do You Touched My Heart for the inside. And I'm just going to stamp it in black. Memento, tuxedo black. Line it up, make sure it looks good. A little off right here. There we go. And it's a new stamp, so I'm going to stamp off first because I want to make sure it looks good. All right, there we go. First time using this one. Exciting. Got a little ink here, don't want it on my card. Wipe it off. Pretty simple. Great, love it. And then let's add a little. Let's just add one leaf at the bottom, one of the 3 leaves. And we'll add that in the garden green. And we're going to put it on the envelope and on the corner part here of the inside sentiment. And I'm going to make it nice dark green. And then right here on the envelope. There we go. Wipe off my stamp. Cool. And then let's go ahead and close this. And then I'm going to glue it to the inside of our card. And then we will have a nice completed card with matching envelope. It's a pretty simple card. There we go. And then let me show you one that I'm going to work on a YouTube video for. I made this one today as well. This one has the basket, which I left the die over there. I was going to bring it back. I forgot. Typical. Jake really, my son, he really loved this. He saw it today when he got home and he thought it was really cute. So there's that. And then let me show you the DSP that goes with this. In this bundle, in the suite, if you order the DSP, or you can order the DSP on its own. These are the grains, the wood grains. And then you got some fun tropicals. Again, this is going to be cute if you do it in a like a Hawaiian style shirt, I think. It'll be cute on a card like this too as a background, but it could be really fun as a Hawaiian style shirt. And then the DSP is a lot of fun. The die, the plant pot die, cuts that out to the T. Just like that. It's pretty cool. It cuts out, there's other dies in the set that'll cut it out too. And then you flip it over and you have a whole nother side to the paper. Offers a lot of different options. Sit down. This is great for scrapbooking. When you get the paper, you get it in 12 by 12. Mine are cut down to 6 by 6 sheets because I did a paper share instead of buying all the paper this year. And if you look, the die is going to cut out that one and it'll cut out this. Let's see. Just like that. That's pretty neat. If you have, this one is the bigger leaf behind here. If you have the whole piece of paper, you would have that on there and could cut it out. So definitely a fun set. Still have lots more I want to do with it. If you have any questions about this set, feel free to contact me. You can do that at through Messenger on Facebook, or I'm on Instagram, and I also have email that you can message me or email me on my website. There's a link to send me a message on there as well. And that's lazydaystampin.com. I hope you enjoyed this card tonight. And thank you so much for joining me. Have a great night.